We are going to be working with some double strip rulers and show you how to use those. So I am starting here with two 2.5-inch strips cut with the fabric, and I'm going to sew them lengthwise together using the Bernat B08. This is a straight stitch machine, so it does only straight stitch, but it does it super duper fast. I've got a knee lever here where I can raise and lower my foot. I'm going to just put that down. I'm using my quilting foot, which is a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. I have the little guide on the side. And are we ready? Don't give me a speeding ticket. I have a cutter right there. But that was super quick. It's much better to do my speeding on this machine than on the open highway. I'm going to use the 60-degree double strip to cut my double strips that I just sewed together with the Bernat B08. I have also a 4.5-inch with the fabric strip, so that will work for this also, because when you do sew 2.5-inch strips together with a 1/4 inch seam, it equals 4.5. Where we're going with this is this beautiful star table runner. So let's see if we can make that now. So with my double strip that I have, I am going to place my ruler on my strip set, and if I've sewn an accurate seam, ideally the bottom should line up right here on the black line. I should have my dotted line in the middle of each of these points, right on the seam, and the very top of the strip should be right at the tippy top of those triangle points. So I'm going to start as close to the end as possible without hitting a selvage, so I can maximize the number of triangles I get out of this. Make sure I'm nice and lined up. This is a creative grid ruler, so it has grips on the back, so I put a little bit of pressure here on my triangle, start cutting. When I get to the inside piece, I have a little notch cut out so that I can get in and cut multiple triangles at one time. So I've just cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. From the first placement of my ruler, and notice I have 3 of them together. That's looking like a half hexagon. I want to go ahead and cut the rest of the strips so I can get the rest to make all of my pieces. So I can flip my ruler or flip my strip, place it the same way, bottom at the bottom, dotted line on my seam allowance, or my seam there. Some more pieces. So notice every other triangle is going to be opposite here. So I got some more little any pieces. So we're going to place one more time, and I should finish up with this strip set. So this time I'm flipping my strip set, placing it where I finished cutting the last time. So we've got an innie and an outie with the blue, and I can make a bunch of hexagons if I want, or in this case, we're going to make stars. So the same pieces that I use to make hexagons, I can simply turn them around like this, and here is a beautiful star. And I can use my 60-degree double strip again to cut this solid 4.5 width of fabric strip to be the background pieces for this. So this ruler is 60 degrees, so it does the same thing as any 60-degree triangle, but the beautiful thing is you can cut more effectively when you have longer strips, because you are cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles at one time. So I'm going to cut the background pieces here. If you look closely here, in order to square this up, I need to have half triangles in this part right here, and these are mirror imaged half triangles. Well, I always have a hard time with mirror image because as much as I try, when I try to do a single strip, I end up with like 4 of the same piece. So the easiest way for me to do a mirror image is to keep my fabric folded together. So I have my width of fabric strip, it's still folded together. So it's approximately 21 inches here folded. There's my fold. I'm going to trim off my selvages. So I have a nice straight edge here. And with my ruler, this line, I have a center line that marks the center of each triangle. I am going to place the left dotted line on the edge of my straight edge that I just cut here and start cutting there. That will give me the seam allowance that I need for my half triangles, my mirror imaged half triangles. So once again, I should have the bottom at this black line, the tippy top up here at the blunt end of the triangle, and I've lined up the edge with the dotted line so that I have seam allowance for my half square mirror image triangles. So there we go. I cut that, and now look, I have two mirror image half square triangles. So I will need more than that to do the background. I'm going to need two here, and two sets on the other end. So I can take my ruler and flip it to the other end. This looks kind of funny, but here is the dotted line. Once again, on this side left of the center, I've completely flipped it, and now I can get a straight edge again when I cut. Okay, so there's number 2 set. I'll do that one more time so that I can get the other end of my runner with the half square triangle pieces, or the half mirror image pieces. Flip it again. Et voila, I have all my half square triangles. Then I can place my ruler. I could do one more set of half triangles if I wanted to get started, just in case I need them. I can always piece that together to be a whole triangle if I would like. Here are all my background pieces. So to be my mirror image pieces, because that's the end. That one is there. It's like putting a little puzzle together. So I'm going to continue like this, make 2 more stars, join them to this one, and I'll square up the other end with my mirror imaged half triangles. So how do I sew this? Because when we think hexagon, a lot of times we think Y seam, and I do not like Y seams. I'm going to sew this in rows. So once I have everything cut out and laid out, I can sew across in rows, just like that. And then put my rows together, so I never have to do a Y seam. So that is one thing that you can do with a 60-degree triangle, double strip triangle. And we do have this pattern for you. So if you purchase the ruler, we'd like you to get started with a nice pattern that is not a king size quilt. So this is a nice doable little project.